Oh, I'm gonna do this flawlessly. Watch me do this flawlessly.
Okay.
So in terms of we were talking last time about inconsistent enforcement, equity versus equality.
Oh, that did not sound perfect. Oh wait, no, you.
Oh no, I got hit because of the tempo down.
Yeah, the slowness tripped you out.
Yeah, I'm so bad at the slow. I'm much better at the faster. Also, with for those viewers at home, I'm usually better at this game with a capture card. It's messing up my game, man.
Is that what we're going with?
It's the latency. It's the latency because it is going through the capture card and then onto the screen. During which time, there's the tiniest bit. So if you remember when I was hitting the buttons beforehand, the game has these cool latency controls in it to sort of make sure that you're not offbeat because of the latency thing. No, I don't want to go in here actually.
Why not?
That place sucks.
I feel like Akira Toriyama designed that boulder. I don't know why. It's a very... It looks like the ships that the sands come in. Is what it is.
I'm just staying here and stab everyone with my very long spear.
You've never been a Dragon Ball person, have you?
No.
It's so sad.
I only started watching anime with Macross. Actually, that's not true. It was Cowboy Bebop, but that didn't...
You never watched Cory in the House?
No. I was never in that house. Ooh.
My big issue with Cory in the House is because this is the content that I know our patrons want.
You say as if this is a Patreon exclusive.
Well, no, this is the content that's going to inspire people to support us.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Is that... So you have the one premise of there's a kid in the White House and he's having wacky White House adventures.
Uh-huh.
That's Cory in the House. People forget that his older sister is psychic and can predict the future. And this doesn't become a national security concern.
That's tied into...
Because it's a spin-off of That's So Raven.
It is?
But That's So Raven's plot was that wacky psychic magics. But no one just mentions. Because I believe by the end of That's So Raven, I think her family knows that she's psychic. Meaning Cory would know when he got to the White House. Meaning I wanted there to be like an episode where there's going to be an international incident. So they like call Raven in. And she's in the Situation Room. Like trying to predict the future.
I didn't know that they were in the same...
No, I thought about this a lot. How did we get onto this? Oh, anime. Okay. Okay.
One tangent into another.
Do we want to reset the conversation?
Yes. So, how do we contextually treat IP? How do we contextually treat copyright? To have things like this, but not have things like threes be screwed over. Yeah.
I think one thing that might be helpful in this conversation, and maybe this is just the teacher and me talking, but I think it'd be a more productive conversation to have if we were sort of comparing apples to apples medium-wise. So, like, I can't see somebody taking threes and doing something with it that was substantially different. Because this isn't like a straight Zelda game.
Yeah.
It's not like these guys are just like taking, Link to the Past and like straight porting it.
Yeah.
It's not just a cosmetic update. Whereas 2048, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much just trying to be a cosmetic update of threes from what it sounds like. I've never played threes.
I have it on my phone. I'll show it to you after.
But is that what sort of matters here? Like, would we be more okay with smaller developers, sort of their copyright getting if not legally encroached, like, de facto encroached, if they're doing something interesting and new and different and non-exploitative with the IP. Like, if they made, like, an Undertale clone that was, like, a rhythm game and a bullet hell game, like, would we be okay with that? Because, like, I feel like one of the reasons we're okay with Nintendo doing this is because you're going from sort of a bigger company to a smaller. Whereas with the 3's 2048 example, it's not like you have a super huge company or a super small company doing a game and then a super huge company, like, copying it wholesale, which I think everybody would lose their shit over justifiably. But
should have reflected.
You never handle the armor boys well.
I was stuck in that little corner. So with a thing specifically like this, one of the things that I think is really cool about it, and something that I think complicates the conversation in terms of essentially allowing copyright, even held by large things like this, to be somewhat valuable, is, more people know about Crypt of the Necrodancer because this game exists.
Yeah.
It is, like you were saying, it is a larger thing making a platform for something smaller.
Well, but I think then that becomes like an example of, well, these rules that tend to benefit rich people are good as long as the rich people themselves are good.
Yeah.
Which is a hairy territory to be in.
Yes.
Not necessarily a universally bad one, but definitely one that's, like, worthy of picking at.
Yes. I think a good sort of point for that. Yeah, let's just continue sort of down this way. I definitely agree with that. I think. So one thing that I think about that I think is a more convincing argument is you have potential, essentially potential big creators licensing out to everyone and their grandmother. Not that your grandmother can't make good games, but that maybe you can.
I mean, one of them is dead, so he can't.
Oh, R.I.P. Justin. I can't believe he died.
Wait, am I my own grandmother in this scenario?
No, I was just presuming that you were the one who's dead.
Oh. That seems like that'd be bad for, like, time stream reasons.
Wait, I think this is another...
I would not go into a place if it just had a very conspicuous, like, eye.
I recently foretold Octavo's future. Who's Octavo?
I want to know how he's, like, how he turned out. I feel like that's an important bit of context here.
I told him he would meet his demise at Ganon's hand in the future. He didn't like it, but that's what you saw. Serves him right for stealing my thread of power.
Fucking Redditors. Wait, so they just didn't do anything for you? Just wanted to vent real quick?
That one, yeah, no, that one just that one wants me to get a thread of power for. If you have it handing out willy-nilly, then, let's say Star Wars lets everyone make a Star Wars movie. So there's Star Wars movies all over the place. And there's the gross way of saying it where the IP becomes less valuable. And there's, I think, the less gross way of saying it where, okay, maybe
you get a lot of bad Star Wars.
Yes. But there's also, like, maybe you trust the first creators of Star Wars, and you want to know when they have made something. But if every version of Star Wars is sort of the same official, unofficial version of Star Wars, how can you tell when something is actually the official version? The same way, like with 3s, how do I tell if something is like actually something made by the folks who made 3s, or if it is a 3s clone?
Okay, I'm gonna give you an argument that I'm pretty sure has like a bunch of holes in it, and then you can tell me where the holes are. I feel like in the Star Wars example, I don't want to be like, oh, the free market's gonna solve everything. I generally hate that framing.
So,
but like, if things are good, you'll know about them because more people will be watching them.
Or they'll just disappear off the map completely. You look at something like the Steam Store, or even the Nintendo eShop now, and you have really sort of, there's so much good stuff that's completely hidden and completely missed out because it's drowned out by there being so much stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a good Star Wars thing, this is like, think of it in terms of Star Wars Expanded Universe books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yep.
There are some good ones. Do I have any clue which ones the good ones are? No, I got no clue.
You just need to have a roommate that was very into the Star Wars Expanded Universe. If you really want to know, I can tell you.
Let's go down. We haven't gone down yet.
Can you get that key, or are you gonna like? Is that like acid?
I don't think it's.
Okay.
Oh
no! I'm sorry for misleading you.
I didn't mean to actually go up. I meant to just say, no, that seems like a bad idea.
And it was.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
Are we gonna go see the Legion of Doom here?
What was that?
We're gonna go see the Legion of Doom here. We've got the swamp skull.
Get out of my swamp skull, donkey.
You know when Shrek just descended into psychological horror?
I'm close to death.
I think that's the most horrifying thing you've ever said, mostly due to the tone than anything else.
That bee almost killed me. Just like straight up death. I think that there's enemies in here. I'm gonna switch from my long spear to to this broadsword, which does 3 sort of surrounding damage. What are you?
Like, bad. That has a lot of health for a scarring little mummy.
I died. I didn't see which way that was attacking. I think the complication here is getting to know who made what. And like if everyone could know who made what, that would make things maybe a little bit easier. But as you can see by this will date the time of this recording. Discourse yesterday with Elon Musk, who says nobody should get credited with anything. Elon Musk.
I missed out listening on the Elon Musk Discourse. I said Discord. I said girl on Elon Musk's Discord. The discourse of Elon Musk.
Elon Musk posted some Nier Automata fan art. Not fan art that he did, but that someone else did about Nier Automata. Some 2B fan art. I'm gonna try to get to the windmill now. Oh no. Haha. Stop that. Stop hitting me. Oh, you have a bow. Oh, they died because they're poisoned. Ha ha ha. Let me. And when everyone was like, "Hey, Elon Musk, credit the artist," he then said, "No one should get credit for anything," and everyone was, maybe a little bit pissed at that. I wonder why though.
Well, but like, I feel like this becomes a conversation about curation though, which to me seems different than a conversation about whether copyright should exist. You can have multiple solutions to curation that do or do not involve copyright. Like,
yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a good point.
Well, because like, I think the 2 places you can go from there to actually solve that are either algorithms, which, as we see with Netflix, can get just weird and bad. Like, now I'm at the point where I'm watching Netflix now where, like, you know how you can get those, like, 4-digit codes that, like, tell you different Netflix genres? And you can just type them into your browser and do it that way?
Yeah.
I've gotten so much more good things from that than Netflix just telling me what it thinks I'm going to want to watch. So I know algorithms are frowned upon for, like, a lot of really good reasons, but that's one response to curation. And then the other, I think, is just bringing back little homebrew internet communities where, like, your friends and shit can tell you, hey, I really like this new bootleg Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
I mean, social media is great. I'm a lot more pro-social media than I feel like a lot of people. But it doesn't, to me, represent sort of that closed system experiences of, like, early
absolutely.
forums. Because things are just more organized and pressed together there, where it feels like a genuine community of, like, I used to get so much, like, music and shit from, this is really gonna date me, but fuck it. I used to go on the Codename Kids Next Door forums a lot. It was, like, my first, like, internet community. And, like, obviously, between seasons, there's only, like, so much relevant on-topic shit you can talk about. So, like, that's how I first heard of Elton John. Like, I'd never heard Elton John before. But, like, I got a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with that.
Who are you?
From sort of that closed, curated community.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think social media, at least right now in the way that, you know, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Maybe Tumblr, I don't use enough Tumblr to know this. But I don't feel like it's set up for that kind of authentic curation from anybody that's not a big corporation with an algorithm.
Yeah. Are these Zora? These are cool looking Zora.
But again, I feel like that's almost a separate, it's still an important conversation, but it's separate to me from should we have copyright. To me, it feels like we answer that first as a society, and then depending on what spectrum of yes or no we answer, we know that curation is going to be a problem either way, so we have to come up with a separate solution to deal with that within the larger copyright question.
Yeah. As someone who has been, like, making stuff and making art since like forever, there we go. Auto dig, auto shuffle, what does that mean? That sounds cool. Oh, there's the piece of heart. Oh, that's the guy that killed me earlier. But as someone who makes things a lot, I really dig the sense of security something like copyright. Maybe not something that is copyright, but you know, something that fills the same purpose of making sure that the things that I make aren't copied, like aren't just taken without my permission. And as someone who also makes video essays on YouTube, I also know that, like, one time I tried to do a video that was a Rickroll, and it didn't work because it got copyright stricken.
Wait, by Rick Astley's estate? Or
No, by like Universal Recording or whatever, like, big recording label. It's like,
You still have an estate if you're not dead? Quick question. I read that came out of my mouth.
I have no clue.
Also, follow up, is Rick Astley dead?
No, Rick Astley is alive and making music. I believe it is, like, heavily Christian based.
I need to listen to this right now.
Cool. And a timer's been up, but I have no clue for how long. This is probably
This is going to be an extra long website episode, and if you listen to the end, you can hear about the strange turn Rick Astley played. We're going to put, like, a little title card in the beginning of the video saying, like, we know this is long, but if you listen to the end, the rewards will be great.
Let's pick up Rick Astley next time on Let's Play.
Thanks.